Are you a business owner looking for real advice and input? You're in the right place. From concept to launch to growth, funding, and beyond. Welcome to Startup Hustle with your hosts. One once sold a business for $150 million. The other, the author of $1 Million Bedroom. Here are your hosts of Startup Hustle, Matt DeCoursey and Matt Watson.
And we're back. Another episode of Startup Hustle. Matt DeCoursey here with Matt Watson, who may be out fishing for the day. Matt, are you here? Matt.
What?
Oh, dude. Come back in. Come back in, dude.
Reel me back in.
Yeah, grab that thing you're sitting on, too. I want to talk about it. Because the guy that invented it's here today.
Really?
Yeah, man. Let me introduce him. With us today, we have Joe Pippins, who's the inventor, owner, founder, guy, everything of the Fishing Caddy. Hi, Joe.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for getting Watson in to actually do something productive, because ever since I showed him the Fishing Caddy, that's all he's been doing.
Yes, it has that draw on people.
Have you caught anything yet, Matt?
Some little carp. Sun perches.
There's a big difference. I don't think you can catch carp with most fishing. I don't think carp bite like that, do they? I bet Joe knows. They can.
Fishing Caddy's that good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's that good.
It's the truth.
So, fishing is a pastime for a lot of people.
It is, yeah. Most Americans, fish quite a bit. As a matter of fact, most of us have a lot of memories of people that we've gone fishing with, and they've some of them have passed on. And it's really a strong emotional tug for a lot of people when you think about fishing.
Yeah, you think about, like, my dad took me fishing, we go down to Lake of the Ozarks and talk about catching this little sunfish or perch or whatever they are. And so with that, in the past you'd have a tackle box, you'd have some other stuff. And it was always kind of a mess. Like, you grab like 3 poles. By the time you got back up to the house or down to the dock, they're like tied up with each other. I don't know, man. There's all kinds of stuff going on. What do you do with your worms, bro?
Yeah.
What do you do with your worms, man?
Eat them.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Ever since the Philippines thing with balut and worms and weird stuff. So anyway, Joe, you have invented an all-in-one fishing system, and it is hot. It is taken off, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But man, what makes someone want to invent an all-in-one fishing system?
Well, I took up the sport of fishing as a way to relax. My mentor, who recently passed away, Mr. Kurt Robinson, was my soccer coach and my dad. And immediately he's like, hey, we need to go fishing. So we go out fishing, and there's a process involved in it. And I've always been kind of the guy that enjoys processes, like 1 + 1 = 2, and just really doing things the right way. So fishing was my way of forcing myself to slow down and also to slow my mind down, because you can't rush fishing. And I found out the hard way, from putting 10 worms on one hook and casting it thinking I was going to catch 10 fish, and obviously not catching anything at all. So he really taught me that the sport of fishing on one of the hardest fish to catch, which was trout. And there's a science to it. You got to have the right line, the right pole, the right bait, the right everything, the hook even for that matter. So I noticed right away while I was fishing that it was a very, very traditional, cumbersome, overwhelming process that made me not want to go as much. So I wanted to do something about that for all Americans.
So you could just pick up and go.
Exactly.
So, but he's right. You do end up having a lot of crap that you carry around when you go fishing. And I haven't gone fishing in a long time. I kind of want to. We like you guys to be interactive while you're listening to the podcast. So check out the Fishing Caddy. That's caddy.com. And you can check out what we're talking about, why we're talking about it. So, okay. So, and by the way, thanks for coming in. We're trying to branch out. It's amazing. We're going to get into not only the products that he's built, but talk about some future technology and stuff. Because, fishing was probably one of the very first things that people did to eat, right?
That's right.
You watch that show Alone on History Channel where they drop the people off in like the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple of those Naked and Frayeds, and I love that.
They could use the fishing caddy
Several
for sure.
of them.
Yeah, but they're always trying to fish. It's one of the most. Other than hunting, that's one of the more rudimentary things about survival. So,
well, speaking of that, what are the stats in the United States for fishing? Like, is it more of a Midwestern thing? Is it more national?
I think it's everywhere.
Yeah, well, we get fishing. There's most of the fishing is done in freshwater, and freshwater fishing is like lakes, ponds, rivers. Then you have saltwater, and there's by far way more a freshwater fisherman, which the number one fish that people fish for is panfish, which my product's built for. So you got bass, crappie, catfish, bluegill, trout.
So a panfish is all those fish, and
Yeah,
that's just
they're
like the ones that'll
smaller
fit in a pan.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, obviously, there are fish that grow
Sure.
larger than that, but
Yeah.
for the most part, that's what you consider a panfish.
I've
So,
seen some big ass catfish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They get huge. They get
Yeah,
really huge. So.
I've caught a big catfish before, but yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a nationwide thing.
It is, and as a matter
worldwide.
of fact, it's actually a worldwide. And it's interesting statistics is that Hispanic fishermen fish about 1.5 times more than non-Hispanic fishermen, and you have a lot of people that use, kind of like you were saying, use fishing as a way to feed their families. So that's one of the biggest things I think I enjoy about this product is not only we bringing families together, and just like you mentioned, you haven't been fishing in a while, and the reason why I would imagine is because there's there's too many processes involved. So with the fishing caddy, it's allowed families to get back together. Believe it or not, 70% of our customers at this point have been women that have been using the product as a way to bring families together, and it's been well received by the fishing community.
Really? Huh.
Wow.
But I think about it, and when I think about that, if I was going to go fishing with my family, Jill would probably be like, without a doubt, getting so many things together for me to carry that it would be maddening. I'd be like, we're just going fishing, just at the pond right over there.
And you want
but
the
we got it.
experience,
We got it. I would feel like I would need to find a Sherpa
A Sherpa.
to carry all of the stuff fishing.
So what exactly is the fishing caddy? Can you describe it for us
Absolutely.
in detail?
What started with the fishing caddy and what it is today is quite a bit different. But originally it started out on a 5-gallon bucket, and I wanted to put the rod holders onto the bucket. So we basically drilled the rod holders into the bucket to make the rods closer.
So
when you
to
get a bite,
to back up, the bucket was there just because it's a good seat.
correct, yeah.
And
as a
you
matter
can
of-
also put fish in it or whatever. But
Correct. Yeah, it's got multi-use, and every fisherman has a bucket. As a matter of fact, that's actually when the light bulb went off. I was out fishing for trout, and I looked down at the end of the bank, and all the guys were down the other end. They're pulling in fish left and right, and I looked at my gear, and I had a lawn chair, I had a tackle box, I had a stringer, I had my fishing poles and my bait, and I just had so much stuff. I didn't want to walk all the way down there, so I just sat put, and I pulled my binoculars out, and I looked around, and most of the guys were sitting on upside-down buckets, and that's when the light bulb went off.
Okay.
So we attach the rod holders onto the bucket so the rods are closer so you don't have to run down and miss bites. I attached LED lights for safety. So when you're walking down to the banks, instead of having a headlamp that costs $40, our LED lights are built in and they're waterproof. So you can use them to tie your knots and also illuminate your path. That was a really big safety feature that families wanted, when they're going fishing with their kids. And the number one thing that fishermen asked for after we started designing the fishing caddy, because we did tons of focus groups, fishermen, wives of fishermen, they said until I put a place where they can put their beer, they were not going to buy one. So,
And you know what? And that's true though. I mean,
It is.
that's
funny.
Hey, a lot of beer gets drank during fishing.
It does.
Well, there's nothing else to do.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the point of fishing for some people.
It
though.
is.
Yeah.
Like,
Relaxing.
you look at Matt and I, and my schedule's on absolute overload right now. Like the idea of going and doing nothing and sitting on a bucket and drinking beer, I don't even care if I throw a line out.
Yeah.
Like that right there sounds like, let's just go do that.
it is.
I was going to last weekend, but it was too damn hot.
I mean, if I can, maybe a bucket full of beer would be good too.
a fishing caddy full of beer.
Yeah, I'll take it. So, but with that, and by the way, once again, you got to go. If you're listening, you got to go check this out. Go to thefishingcaddy.com. There's a really cool video on that. Now, I want to fast forward before we go back in the timeline, just because I think this is going to really get your folks' attention. So, you have been featured on ABC with Steve Harvey.
Yes.
And did he announce you as the right name? He
Yeah,
did.
he did
Okay, that's
actually.
good
I was
because
surprised,
he
but he
took a
did.
swing and a miss on Miss Universe. I think.
He did, and it's funny that you say that because that's a lot of people. Some of his notoriety came from that.
It's funny. See, if you ever are bored, look up Steve Harvey. Just YouTube Steve Harvey because his hosting on the Family Feud, he's got some really funny reactions.
hilarious, yeah.
And he's an awesome guy, and he's a fellow fisherman, most importantly. And I found that out during the show, so we had an instant connection. He's an awesome guy.
So you've been on ABC recently. Your products, are you getting ready to distribute your products through Cabela's and Cabela or is it Cabela?
Cabela's and Bass Pro.
Cabela and then Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a Cabela?
Yeah, I have.
Dude, it's like mega.
Uh-huh.
Right.
It's all like Bass Pro.
Yeah. Same thing. They're competitors. They get
It's
to
owned
fight
by the
it.
same company now.
But are they really? They consolidated.
I bought it.
I see. So, but anyway, that's some major distribution there. So obviously someone bought into this, and now I want to go back. So now, here you are, and you solved you see a problem you need to solve. But dude, products are hard. Like they're hard because like you have to build it, you have to manufacture it. There's so all these different things that come up. You have to fulfill orders, and then to get, then to get into places like you're talking about, not easy.
It's extremely difficult, and the hardest part about building a physical product is in the early stages you get so much resistance, and fishing's been such a traditional sport. I mean, I've been laughed at. I've had people talk about taking, restroom breaks in my product. I've had people just be downright evil. And we go to trade shows, and there's 100,000 fishermen coming through there, and it almost seemed like this one demographic of customer was just the rudest, meanest, and it just was consistent. And my guys, we take a beating at these shows, and I remember I had literally taken my fishing caddy, my prototype, and put it in the trash. And I was like, I'm done with this. I'm not ever going to do this. I can't handle this. People are on Facebook. They would just be really just beating me up. And then I woke up the next morning, and I remember I had a previous product that I had invented a few years ago, and I let that product go. And a major car manufacturer had it in their vehicles from 2008 to forward. And I remember that failure because I bought the car, and my technology was in that car. And I ended up pulling my prototype out, and I was like, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep moving forward. And I realized there's a difference between critics and consumers. Consumers taught me what I need to make my product better. Like, how can I sell you a fishing caddy? What do I need to do? A critic, this person is just going to just put you down, and maybe they've given up on their dreams. Maybe they've forgotten what it feels like to be a developer and to bring something to market. So those guys, their only goal is to try to make you give up so you become like them. And you've got to be brave enough to push through that, and not only just be brave enough to push through that, but to understand that your vision, it does matter. And what it is today and what it may become years from now is two totally different things, but you'll never know that if you give up.
But you got to, so the struggle is real. And like we talked about this before we hit record, and, the realism. And, he said to me, he goes, man, I just want to tell the truth to people listening because, the struggle is real.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what you're trying to build or what you're trying, I don't know. Do people say to you, now that this has been oh, you're lucky, you've done this? I'm like, I did not feel lucky last week.
Yeah, there's no luck involved.
I did not feel lucky when I worked 90 hours last week, guy.
No.
And stuff like that. And the personal price of entrepreneurship and business ownership and innovation is high.
How many different product iterations did you go through?
Well, at least 6. And it started out on a 5-gallon bucket, drilling through. Then we went back to the market and asked fishermen, what do we need to do to change? It's changed quite a bit. We actually have some really cool stuff that I can't reveal yet that's coming down the pipe that's going to blow away the fishing industry. And it's going to bring a lot of the younger generation fishermen into the sport of fishing.
Oh, wow.
He's going to install an iPad and
so
my kids will actually go fishing and pay attention.
One part of the population required the beer holder, the other one requires the iPad holder.
That's
I know, man. I'm
you got to do what you got to do.
Okay, so the future generation will probably be my kids watching other kids fish on YouTube. I'm like, come on, guys. Can we do something for real? They're like, no.
That is so therapeutic, though. I love watching people fish on YouTube. I love it.
Okay, now I will say, and so I don't watch. I don't watch golf either. I probably wouldn't watch fishing a whole lot. Maybe the highlights, like them pulling the fish out.
Yeah.
I enjoy more. I actually saw a thing the other day where you talk about carp. Some guy was trying reaching these giant carp, swimming down. He's trying to feed them, and it jumped up and it took his whole forearm into his mouth, and he's flopping around. I was like, holy shit, that's not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a funny story about fishing where the fishing caddy would have helped. So. All right, I was probably 8 or 9 years old. My parents have a house that's on a golf course, and they're on a hole that has a water hazard. So I had a pond, literally within 50 yards of my house. Used to fish all the time. So I was out one day. This isn't really a funny story, but a treble hook, so 3 hooks, barbed. It was a windy day, and I hooked myself in the back of my frickin' head.
Oh.
I got 2 out of 3 hooks.
Oh.
I got 2 out of 3 hooks. Stuck lodged in the back of my head. So here's the thing is I went to cast forward, these hooks snapped, and I thought I got hit in the head with a golf ball because I was fishing on a golf course. Because it went, it was thunk, and it yanked my head forward. I really did. I thought I got hit in the head with a golf ball, and I reached back and I felt the hook back there, and I was like, oh my God. So now this is where something like the fishing caddy wouldn't have been helpful. So at this point I had to I basically had to cut the line off, and then I'm like crying. My sister finds me halfway home, and she thinks I'm dying because I have a fish hook in my head. But yeah, I had to go to the emergency room and have a fish hook removed from my head. So yeah, that happened. I even thought about that for a long time. Okay, so
not going fishing with you.
Fishing challenges. All right, so
I have a question about fishing.
Please.
I have a theory.
Please, man. Oh, is it
I have
time?
a theory.
Is
All right, so this is my theory. I believe there are people who like to fish, and there are people who like to eat sushi, but they are almost never the same.
Yeah. You're right.
I can weigh in on that. Do you want to? Are we going to test the scientific data?
I agree. I think that the people eating the sushi are people that probably don't like to get their hands dirty too much.
That's me.
And
I love sushi, but I gotta be honest. Now here's the thing, though. It's like if you call me up and you're like, "Hey, dude, let's go fishing." I'm fine, but honestly, I'm not a fisherman. I don't. But I don't do a lot of stuff like that. People ask me to play golf all the time. I don't play golf. I can. I have golf clubs. I don't have a fishing. Do you have a fishing pole? Like a real one?
Nope.
So you're not a fisherman.
I love sushi, though.
So you're a sushi guy.
I love sushi.
Right.
So that's my theory for you.
So, Joe,
when you're doing advertising, you exclude everybody who eats sushi.
Are you a sushi guy?
Yeah, I actually eat sushi, too. Yeah.
He's kind of like...
I'm weird.
It's okay.
I'm a unicorn.
Yeah,
I didn't say it was a perfect theory, but it's just stereotypically speaking, that's my theory.
So, Matt, in the course of your life, as you're coming about arriving at different conclusions, there's no other way to sugar. How the fuck did you come up with this theory? For real. Tell me how exactly you came up with that.
I don't know. It's just, it was 4 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. I couldn't sleep.
And you're
it just dawned on me, and I'm like, man.
And you're sitting there thinking, man, you know what? I bet people that really like sushi aren't avid fishermen.
Yeah, it just came to me.
Boom.
Just dawned.
This is my business partner, by the way. These are the problems he's solving.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then he
But
comes
evidently
in,
I was right. So
he's like, dude, I have figured it out.
I did.
I'm like, tell me about it. And he's like,
Figured
so
it all
people
out.
that like sushi probably don't like to fish that much. I'm like, thank you for solving that problem.
Because most of the people in my family that love to fish, they all hate sushi. So I just put the two together.
Well, here's the thing. When you say that, it's so true because there's other fishermen, the opposite. We don't like to eat other people's fish. We just don't like it. We'd rather catch our own fish.
I don't like
and cook
fish,
our own
though.
fish.
I kind of like sushi, but not all in. I'm not a big fish guy. If you give me, some people get the trout, and it's got the head on it and all that. It's just not me, man.
You got to find the right recipe.
I'm a red meat kind of guy, man. I'll eat barbecue all day, but I've just never been a fish guy. I never really grew up liking it. You?
I've never been big into fish either. And all our travels to the Philippines, it's interesting because a lot of times they eat the whole fish.
All of it.
The whole, yeah.
Oh, dude, there's some, when I was there with Matt and they're bringing it out, they're like, do you want the fish? I'm like, not if it's coming with the head on it.
Yeah.
It does kind of ruin it for a lot of people that are not avid fishermen because it's looking at me.
Americans have no concept of where their food comes from. It all comes from the factory.
Wait a minute.
Exactly.
And I'll post this video later. So we were actually eating sushi in the Philippines, and they brought out all these courses of the meal. Remember the one
Yep.
I'm sitting there, and one of our employees looks over at me and goes, I think the fish is looking at me. I was like, dude, it's dead. He goes, and then he said it again. He goes, the fish, it's looking at me.
Oh, gosh.
The fucking fish was still alive. Man.
Yeah.
They were like, it's apparently a Japanese delicacy, but someone reached up and poked it, and the thing stuck its head up and looked over, and I was like, oh my God, and no one touched that for the rest of the meal. I have it on video. I will post it. It was not and it's like a 7. You've seen the video.
Yeah.
For real, I was like, oh my God. So anyway. Okay, so back to the fishing caddy and you catching your fish so you can create your own memories of eating the fish that you thought was not alive. Okay, so creating a product presents a lot of challenges. You obviously have to build it, but then you have things like fulfillment and sourcing and manufacturing and stuff like that. So give us some real talk, man. What was some of the ups and downs of that whole process?
Well, I'll tell you, I always felt it was important for me to know my business and do every aspect of it myself, and that's really what I've been doing up to this point. And before I hire people and I look out for outside help, and truth be told, I've actually learned that I know more about my business and how my business is integrated into the sporting goods and outdoor industry than anybody I've come across. And that's not a cocky or arrogant statement. It's because I've taken my time to really learn. Fulfillment as an example, where I do my own fulfillment. And there was a time I'd work 14 hours in the car business and finance and come home, spend a couple hours with the fam, and I'd be up till 3 o'clock in the morning filling orders and making fishing caddies by hand, like spray painting the rods, hand stitching the lids. I mean, I took this serious. I even cut my decals out with scissors because I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. So the fulfillment side of it is important, obviously. Materials, I did have to source several different manufacturers for my hardware and my lids and things like that. And I was always trying to find a way to cut my costs and also find a better partner, people that I know are going to be able to execute. So the biggest thing that I will say when building a physical product, you've got to think about how is the end user going to receive this product, and that's something I did not do. We had huge boxes, so shipping was $25 a ship it.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the core of this product is the 5-gallon bucket, right?
Well, it was. It's no longer, but it was, and that's what got us here. And
but that you can't make that smaller. That's a fairly big thing.
Yeah, but you can make it smaller. We have a fishing caddy mini for the kids because we're all about families going out fishing, but we are segueing more towards attachments where guys and families can put them on their own buckets. But that was a part I did not even think about, and I had actually hired someone to walk me through that beginning part of the process because I was really uncomfortable with what the next steps were. And that was
which
never
part was
brought up.
that? Just the manufacturing of it or the design?
It was never design. It was all manufacturing and how I was going to get my product to the end user.
This is where something like Amazon Prime is great, and you get your free shipping. It was like expensive to ship.
People don't know, but like for me, Amazon Prime is not profitable.
Didn't work for you.
I mean, we have to sell our fishing caddies on there for almost over $100, and
Yeah, I was going to ask how much is the fishing caddy?
Well, it starts out at $49, and for the starter model, and you can get the deluxe model for $79 on Amazon or on thefishingcaddy.com.
So you are on Amazon.
Yeah, we are.
You kind of got to be, though. I mean,
yeah,
but not on Prime.
No, we are on Prime too.
Oh, you are.
Yeah,
okay.
we send select amount of inventory to Prime because they've changed the algorithms there, and that's something else I learned. There's been so much learning with this, and I'm so glad that I didn't really have a lot of help with this. I had to figure it out on my own, and I failed miserably so many times. But Amazon Prime, if your inventory sits there too long, they charge you fees.
Yep.
And when these fees hit you, it's devastating. So you're almost better going lean with Amazon Prime and continuing to send product maybe weekly or whatnot, because there's a long process involved. And if you get hit with those fees, you better use that amount they're going to fine you with on advertising and blow your inventory out using that, because you're going to lose $600 anyway, which was my case. So the first time I lost $600, and I was like, man, how can I do this differently? And then that's when it dawned on me. I was like, dude, just spend the $600 in marketing and get rid of the inventory,
Right.
So, but yeah, that was a big piece of it. I also know channels. You got to know where your customers are, and you have to know how to market those channels and how to get your customers to find you there. Like Etsy's huge for Father's Day. We would just do tremendously well.
Is that
on
a big
Etsy.
source of sales? Do you have an Etsy store?
We do. We have Amazon sell, Etsy, and then we also sell, of course, on my website. Now we have Shield Sporting Goods, which is in Overland Park. So we're there nationally now.
Which is also the size of an arena.
It's huge.
There's literally, and for those of you that aren't in Kansas City or don't know what Shields is, they have like a full-size carnival Ferris wheel inside it, and I know it because I have to take my daughter to ride it.
Shields in other places.
Yeah.
And they're great partners for small businesses. They were the first people that did business with the Fishing Caddy without all the crazy red tape. So shout out to everybody at Shields in Overland Park, Taylor Beelman, and all the people that are over there in Shields Corporate too. Thank you.
So speaking of shout outs, for people that need to sell stuff on Amazon, we've got a partner of the podcast, Andrew Morgan's over at Marknology. Andrew?
He's done work for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's awesome.
He is awesome. He knows a lot of stuff about Amazon. You can check him out at marknology.com if you need to figure out how to sell some stuff. But I've learned so much from listening to him. So also Amazon started cutting some people off because they have what they call crap. Can't realize a profit.
Oh.
And it's not like on certain things, like Amazon's just like, it's like, I'll give you an example, would be like a case of water. they can't realize a profit.
Right.
And they're using warehouse space. It's just not efficient. So
I
Amazon
tried to order dish soap on there the other day, and it wasn't on there. It must be the same thing. They cost too much to ship or whatever, that you couldn't really buy dish soap.
So different challenges. And so one of the things that Amazon is, and the prices are kind of steep, but so is running your own fulfillment center and your own warehouse and stuff like that. So for
AKA your garage.
Yeah, it started out in my basement, actually.
Now this has to have grown well past that for you to be sourcing to these big stores, because I would imagine when Cabela's or Bass or Shields, I mean, they buy stuff, they're not like, hey, we'll take 4.
Yeah, they're buying thousands, hundreds or thousands of units at a time. And when you talk about that fulfillment piece, it was important for me to do that myself, and I found my partner, my fulfillment, was stealing from me. Thousands of dollars every single month.
Oh, wow.
And I found it, and guess what? They found out that other people that were a part of that company were also getting stolen from, because I was able to find my margins and realize that a Zone 1 does not cost $16. A Zone 1 costs $6. So there was some tremendous lessons I learned there, because I did my own fulfillment. But had I not done that, when ABC hit in December, sales were just rolling in like crazy, and it's good to
So
get
when you
excited.
say ABC, that was when you were on with Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
So that kind of something like that. I mean, and that's another thing too, is like, well, you look at things like Shark Tank or just different things that all of a sudden you're like there.
Mm-hmm.
Joel from Cambrian was talking about that. Remember on his so. They had a Home Depot ad came out, and they make technology that helps and they got 150,000 downloads in 2 hours.
That's crazy.
I mean, just when marketing or exposure actually works, are you able to handle
Correct.
that?
And I'll tell you what happened to me. You talk about pitfalls and learning lessons. Okay, that video, we had a video on this website called Oddity Mall, and it went viral like in 2 weeks. It was like 1.2 million views in 2 weeks. So we were just selling everywhere the fishing caddy was. People were buying. There was people selling fishing caddies on Amazon, on eBay for $400.
They were literally marking them up.
Yeah, they were buying them for me and selling
They're
them.
Scalping them.
Yeah,
wow.
so
There's
it
a
was
secondary
Now
market.
you know you've made it.
It was crazy. I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Well,
but
no, he's right though, because look, all right, I actually talk about this in $1 Million Bedroom. There's a difference between popular and passionate, and when you can sell something for a premium up and over, like, it is a sign that something has gone to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited.
As opposed to my books, which sell well below face value on eBay.
You just give them away for free.
That might be why I've been flooding the market, because I'm like Garth Brooks. I'm just going to keep adding shows and shows and shows until like the whole market collapses. But I mean, if you want it and it's something, I mean, the struggle's real on that. Like, you look at things like the Cabbage Patch Kid. The Matt Watson doll was big a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, it was really big.
That was big. Yeah. I traded all my Beanie Babies for one of those because the guy at the store told me it'd be worth it.
How's that going?
I don't know. It's a weird looking doll.
Yeah, it is.
We throw it against the wall.
Looks like a redheaded
stepchild. I know, we throw it against the wall a lot when we're
Looks like the problem child.
Yeah. So here you go. You have a problem, and so you ran. So basically, you ran out.
I sold out everywhere where there was a fishing caddy. I sold out, and I did not have the manufacturing to do it. My manufacturer, unfortunately, his daughter passed away, and he shut down everything, and I was not able to fill some orders. And I don't think there's anything more stressful than to lose 800 orders on Amazon overnight.
When you say lose them, meaning
they just disappeared because they went past 30 days. On my website, I was able to keep my customers happy. So I had all these customers waiting to buy my product and couldn't get it. And these were Christmas presents. And it was overwhelming, emails and phone calls like, hey, what's going on? Where's my product? And I sent out a mass email. I was like, listen, guys, I apologize. This is what happened. We're going to send you pictures of your fishing caddy, put it in the stocking, or we'll cancel your order and give you back your money, whichever you prefer.
You got a lot of cancels, probably.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
I lost 800 on Amazon due to Amazon erasing the customers, basically. We only lost 20. 20 customers decided that they just did not want to wait for it, but the rest of them
I guess in a fishing product in a lot of markets, if you don't have it in December, as long as it's there by spring, you'll probably be all right. Now, if you were selling snowboards, maybe a much different story there. Okay.
But these were Christmas presents too, and there's a little bit of a nostalgia factor with fishing that is like unspoken. It's kind of like you think about like Captain Crunch. When you say that, what happens? Your mouth starts watering. When you think about Ninja Turtles, you think about just Cartoon Network. Pizza, yeah. There's warm and fuzzies that go on with that. So when people are giving this product to their loved ones, they're getting something out of it too, you know.
When I think about Watson, I think about green M&Ms, and that's why I'm going to eat more of those.
Those are good.
Thank you, Matt. Sorry. Are you still upset about the tour bus?
Yeah, you're eating my
repossessed?
green M&Ms.
You're right. You're not a rock star anymore, dude.
No.
You talk about hype. We were so excited when we made it into the top 200 of business podcasts, and then Apple they don't have the list anymore.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were up to like top 80 or something.
Yeah, we've
awesome.
been in the top 70s. But
Yeah,
but now the list isn't there. I was just curious yesterday. I went to go check, and I'm like, wait a minute.
So now we're top 3.
Yeah, we'll just make it up. I think briefly we peaked at number 1.
Yeah.
And
that's incredible.
Well, actually, we can't say that because now they just have the top 200. That's like all podcasts. But I mean, come on. Like, dude, do you know how many podcasts are out there?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've had to overcome a lot of these. Do you have more than one place you make these now?
Right now, yes. We have a manufacturer here in the U.S., which is local, which was important to me just when I was starting.
Like local, like here in KC?
Yeah,
Okay.
right here in Kansas City. Yep. And we have another manufacturer in overseas as well.
Okay.
So, and I'm working on getting everything that's overseas here in the U.S. and vice versa. So I'm able to get my margins overseas, and I'm able to get quicker turn time here in the U.S., which of course is down, in Kansas City. So if I need an order done, my manufacturing partner can literally give me thousands of units within a day, and he's been that type of partner for me.
That's legit. Yeah, that can handle that because you don't know when those little surges are going to come. You can't. That's the one thing about hype is you just don't know when it's going to happen.
How can they do that in a day? They have all the parts just sitting there ready to go?
They've got my molds. We're working on moving my molds. A lot of my molds.
Like you said, like LED lights and all this stuff. Like they have all these components and parts just sitting on the shelf?
Well, those come from other suppliers.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But if they're going to make 5,000 of these tomorrow, they got to have them tomorrow.
Yeah, the supplier parts are the area that is that's probably is the challenge because I'm not going to go out and buy 5,000 lights without having 5,000 orders, but I will let my manufacturer, build me enough parts, and I can get the other parts on overnight and get them here quicker. So versus sending it from China and waiting 30 days for it.
Yeah.
So I used to work for a musical instrument manufacturer, and they did billions of dollars a year in sales for Roland, and I mean a lot of stuff. And when we sell stuff to chains and stores, it's not like they're like, okay, cool, here's the payment, and now. So I would imagine that's a challenge, or has been at some point, which is funding the production and your AR and your receivables. Has that been something that's been
absolutely? Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, Cabela's, Bass, all these people, they're probably like net 180.
Net 60.
Net 60. Okay.
Yeah,
but still, if they order 5,000 of them, and it costs you, I'm gonna guess tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to make them.
Yeah, there's a definite
that's a
level
lot
of
of
stress there, and I think that's where, my partners that I have, investing group and whatnot, they got my back on that piece of it. So that is that's always in the back of your mind. Like success can be the kiss of death too. And I have one of my other partners. Success can be the kiss of death.
Yeah, sure.
One of my other partners, he was on Shark Tank and he sold so many units he almost went out of business because it sounds like that would never happen, but just exactly what you're saying is what almost occurred to him.
Yeah, that's something that, I mean, when I've talked to different entrepreneurs or people, and I'm like, so everyone's always obsessed with like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that, the sky's falling, blah, blah, blah. Well, what happens if everything goes right?
Exactly.
Because it can present like a whole nother, like we went through that with Full Scale. So, Matt and I own a business. We help companies like yours build tech or do different stuff, and we grew really fast. And it presented like the opposite kind of challenges. Like most early companies are struggling for traction, for revenue, for everything. We kind of had the opposite issue. Like all of a sudden we had a shitload of employees and we're like, wow, we hired 30 people this month. That's $60,000 worth of laptops and, paying for all this stuff up front and doing a lot of different things. So, I mean, cash flow is the lifeblood of a business. And for those of you listening, like the struggle's real, like regardless of the stage, like we still talk about that at Full Scale, like and just different stuff. It's like, it's hard to manage it because you don't always know when someone else is going to send you a check.
Correct, and you can't make them send you a check.
You can't make them, and that was something we ran into, like at some of the when I worked for others, was sometimes people don't pay.
Yeah,
like literally just don't pay.
Yeah,
and then you have to deal with that, and these are all, and especially when you don't understand, like, I mean, I think at any point, like one of the things that retailers use, a phrase is shrink. And that's everything from things that are getting stolen to things that are broken or things you just don't account for properly.
Yeah.
And until you understand, like, I mean, that's going to happen. There's no way you're going to make 5,000 of anything and not mess up one of them.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I would encourage a lot of people to think about from the beginning. You got to think about what can go wrong first.
Yep.
And build around that.
Which is hard.
It is. And what you just talked about there, you know, when you got 5,000 units and there's this problem, and now you've diverted your attention away to that problem, your business is also suffering too. So you got to be real careful with that.
Have you had that problem?
Yes.
I mean, where you've made
times.
like hundreds of them and you're like, oh shit, every one of them's messed up.
Well, that actually happened to me last year, 2017, right after we were on that ABC show. My manufacturer had built hundreds of my rod holders that were defective. And I found that out because my kids and I were assembling product at Oak Park Mall. We had a pop-up kiosk there, and my son's like, Dad, this is not going on there. Like, it's not fitting. And I went to try it, and I had to use pliers to get it on. And
Yeah,
I
was going to say
crazy.
that's something that happens a lot is part changes.
Yeah,
So like when I
shrinkage.
worked for Roland, they did something rare. They made 100% of their own parts, so they could have full control over that. Because especially with like electronics and different components, like if someone changes like the diameter of a diode or something, it could like mess up the whole entire thing.
Yep.
And just different stuff like that. And then one of the things too that I've built, a lot of people source things to China or wherever. Well, you get your 9 containers of something in, and then you realize it's messed up.
Yeah.
Oh,
gosh.
dude, that's game over.
Yeah.
So
you're
what
in
did
trouble.
you do? You had like hundreds of them that are wrong. You don't know who bought them. You don't know where they went.
I feel like every time you have a product, you've got to put a guarantee in for the customer. So from the beginning, when I was doing Fishing Caddy, designing it, I knew I was expecting flaws. So what did I do? I put a 60-day money-back guarantee. I'm begging you to send it back. Please tell me what's wrong. Like, tell me right now. I'll give you back all your money. Just tell me. So that's what happened.
Tell me before I get any deeper down this hole.
Yeah, and before we go to mass with the flawed product. So we got phone calls from people, and we just either gave them an option. Hey, we'll send you another one, or we'll give your money back. And as soon as they say give your money back, I mean, I'm hitting buttons and invoices going out right that moment. So yeah, we found that out, and I called my manufacturer. I was like, hey, there's something going on with my parts here, and it was shrinkage from the plastic, and the mold had started to break down. And that was a problem that was going to occur on every single product.
I think people don't understand how expensive these molds are to make, too.
Gosh.
Like, they are really expensive. Okay, so have you ever played Mixtape the game?
No.
Because I'm going to hand you this box, because if I'm going to make my own fishing caddy, until our digital version of Mixtape comes out, I'm going to need a holder.
Cool.
I'm going to need a holder for my physical version of Mixtape. But with Mixtape, we pull, and you go to mixtapethegame.com. So we pull a card and we read a scenario, but I'm going to invent one today.
This is cool.
I'm going to invent one today. So I'm going to normally, like, for example, a sample would be like the song that plays as your last child leaves the nest. We've played that card before. Today, I'm going to invent a card, because in the digital version, you can make up your own cards. So here's the scenario. I'm going to name a scenario. We're all going to pick a song that's appropriate, and then we'll vote. You cannot vote for yourself. Okay?
I have a feeling I know what this is going to be.
The song that is playing in your head when you have the biggest fish of your life on the line. On the hook. And I'm going to let you guys, I'll let one of you answer first, because I've obviously invented it, but I didn't even know my answer until after I read it, or after I invented it.
So Limp Bizkit's not an answer?
It is not. Limp Bizkit is not a song, man. I'm going with the song that actually plays during Jaws.
Oh, okay.
Which is only 2 notes.
So does Fuck You by CeeLo Green still work?
No,
that does not work in this scenario?
Actually, you know what? That might not
work.
We've determined when you play Mixtape that Fuck You by CeeLo Green actually is like the hack. It's good for almost any answer.
It's the, what do you want to call it?
It's like
Ace in a hole.
It's like the skeleton key for Mixtape.
Oh,
We're
wow.
trying to figure out, but it might not. Well, maybe it would work. But but it's so played out.
That's awesome.
So I got to go with Rollin' by Limp Bizkit.
Oh my God.
You're rolling them in, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Do you even like Limp Bizkit?
I do, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I feel like we need to bring Fred Durst in to
That would be really cool.
Do you have an answer, Joe?
I don't know who sings this song, but
That means you have to sing it.
I'm gonna say the Rocky song all day long.
Oh, like the Gonna Fly. It's called Gonna Fly.
Yeah, it's
The
like
theme,
a triumph.
the theme song to Rocky.
Yeah, the final countdown. Yeah.
Ooh, wait, that's a different song.
Okay, that's the one I want to say. Yeah.
The
'cause
final countdown.
Yeah,
That's
that
not
one.
Rocky.
Okay, what's in the Rocky movie, right?
Rocky was, well, if we're thinking Rocky, I'm thinking Eye of the Tiger.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
Dun, 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 dun.
That too.
Rising up.
Those are both excellent.
I don't know
fishing
the rest of the
songs.
words, but you do. You
All right, what are we
talking
picking
about.
here? What are we picking?
God, we all suck today.
The theme song of Jaws.
What? I mean, if I played that right now, you would think of Jaws.
Yeah.
You would.
I'd probably drop my fishing reel and run.
You do what you need to do. My fishing pole is going to be in the holder of the fishing caddy, and I'm going to be sitting on the bucket drinking beer, so I'm not even worried about
And it's filled with water, so it won't tip over.
it. Boom.
All right.
Mine's going to be filled with beer,
All right.
but I'm ready. God, I don't even know who to
What
vote.
is your song?
What'd you say? The Eye of the Tiger.
I can't come up with your answer, Joe.
I like
you
that- it's
came
the-
with 4. You want to go with Eye of the
The Eye
Tiger?
of the Tiger is my final
I
answer.
mean, it's kind of a good answer.
I got to go with that
Well,
one
I'm
because
going
yours
with Joe.
sucks.
Yeah.
Does it though? All right, Joe. So because
I mean, you picked the song that was supposed to scare me away from fishing.
because
So
And there's water in front of you.
where's the there's no bait in the money gun, dude.
here you go.
Here, hang on. We're gonna load the money gun.
You got to reload it with glitter too.
About to make it rain.
And well, we're going to, but I'll get the video for you, man,
Okay.
because I don't want to take any of your focus away from your prize, dude, which is probably the greatest prize in all of podcasting. So hang on. Go ahead, Joe. Fire the
wow.
money gun. Let's see if it actually works.
You're gonna let me do this? This is awesome.
Yeah, do it. It's all you. You won. You're
Now-
the big winner.
Can I
You can do whatever you want, man. You can
well,
do it.
Make it rain.
I'm gonna take it back to the hood and turn it sideways.
Oh,
okay. We
I
haven't
don't know
seen
about that.
We haven't seen that yet. And there it goes.
Woo!
The new golden money gun has got power.
I like it.
Power. Is it empty? Is that
Oh, there's
no!
more.
Look at that. There's more.
Dang.
Is it bad that I just kind of have a basic?
You got to blow on it.
Yeah, nice. Is it bad that I have a basic feel for like how much money should come out of the money gun? I seem to like
pretty
have a.
sad.
I know.
That's pretty cool.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for coming in. Are you on Instagram? Is it the Fishing Caddy?
Yeah, we're on the Instagram. We're on Twitter. Of course, you can find us on all social medias, and of course, visit thefishingcaddy.com for your next fishing adventure.
Dude, he's doing my job for me.
There's one more thing we didn't talk about.
What?
I want to ask about.
What?
Real fast. So you made this awesome product. And did you patent it?
Yes.
So
several
have you had to
times.
worry about people like knocking you off?
No, as a matter of fact, I welcome that.
You haven't had a problem with that?
No.
Wow.
Do you, when you say you welcome that, it's just because they're kind of setting themselves up to fail?
There's a major strategy involved in that, so please,
All right.
please knock off my fishing caddy.
Okay. All right.
If you're looking for your next idea, please rip off the Fishing Caddy.
Exactly.
So, well, anyway, once again, thefishingcaddy.com. If you want to check us out, you can do so at Startup Hustle Podcast on Instagram. If you want to learn more about dude, was there
more
still
money
money
in
in
there.
there?
A lot of money
Was
in
there
there.
$50.
undispensed
Yeah,
money?
that
Wow.
was a lot.
If you want to actually go to Joe's Instagram page and try to give him some tips on discharging all of the money from the money gun, it's okay. It's okay. You think the fishing guy would really
Yeah.
like turn it loose and just like throw the bait everywhere? But
but
so anyway, thanks again for coming out. Make sure you pick up a fishing caddy, post some pictures online, tag them, tell your friends about it, and just remember, I'm still a better fisherman than Watson.
Yeah, for sure.
See you
But
next
I like
time.
sushi.